Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make this reindeer design, which was designed by me, and I think these guys look so adorable. Look at them! Ugh, I've been wanting to make a reindeer for a couple years now, but I didn't know how to make a reindeer without it looking too similar to my cow, but I finally came up with this, and I think he is adorable. As you can see, he is very, very round. I don't know, I just wanted to make a cute reindeer, and I think this guy is so adorable. I don't have much to say other than that he's really cute. I know I posted a photo of this guy on Instagram, and a couple of you guys said you were interested in a tutorial. Also, right after I made this guy, I was like, I have to make a tutorial. Like, he's just so cute, and I know you guys would, like, love him. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I really don't have too much to say. I did say in my photo that this guy looks much better in person. I think even in video you can kind of see how cute he is, but, like, once you make him, you'll think he's so much cuter. I took him to my grandma's to show my grandma because I show my grandma like everything I make, and she was like, wow, he does look so much cuter in person. I was like, I know. So yeah, that's all I have to say. So band wise, I don't know how many bands this guy takes. I haven't done the band count yet, but my guess is probably like 250 to 300 bands. But if you want the official band count, you can check down in the description box below, and I will have exactly how many bands it takes to make this guy. So, the only other thing is difficulty-wise, I don't think he is too difficult. I would say if you've made my cow design before, you can probably make the reindeer. He is very similar to my cow design. Not exactly, but the way we do the legs is very similar to the cow, and then, like, I don't know, the head is a little bit reminding me of my cow, but it's slightly different. So, just things like that. There's something else I was gonna say. Oh, right. No, that was it. Okay. So yeah, I hope you decide to make these guys. I don't think they're too hard. If you made my cow, you can do this. And yeah, so band-wise today I'm going to be using these caramel bands for the white in this guy, and then the peach in this guy. I'm going to be using caramel today. And then for his antlers, which we'll get to a little later, I'm going to be using red and white to make him like cotton candy kind of antlers. So I'm going to be using red and white. I don't know why there's a clear band there, but I'm going to be using red and white. And I feel like this design you can have fun with the colors a bit. I made like a Christmas reindeer, and now I'm making like, I'm going to make like a brown reindeer, at least it's planned with like candy cane antlers, so yeah. Of course you're going to need a hook. Today I'll be using my double-ended hook, but you don't have to use a double-ended hook. I just really like this hook. And then you're going to want a C-clip or something to mark your rows with. I will be using a C-clip today, but you could use an S-clip, a paper clip, just something to mark where you end and start. I also just dropped that C-clip. I'm going to have to get a different one. Okay. So I think that's it. We will get started. I'm going to zoom my camera in real quick because I have you guys very zoomed out because I don't want to say the reindeer's a big design, but for whatever reason, he doesn't really fit between my desk and camera when I have you guys zoomed in. It's a little bit long. But we're going to get started. As always, the pattern and everything is in the description. So we got pattern, band count, all that's in the description if you want to follow the pattern while you follow along with the tutorial. That's cool. So I think we're gonna start with the body, and then we'll go from there. It was funny because when I designed this guy, I actually designed the head first and then the body came second, which I usually don't do. Usually I'll do like the main body first and then make the head. But this guy, I don't know, I had like a pretty solid idea of how I wanted my reindeer head to look, but I didn't know how I wanted the body to look. So I did the head first, and then after I was like, you know, it would be cute, a really chunky reindeer. So that's what I did. But yeah. Anyways, we're going to get started. So we're going to start with a tripled cap band with 6 stitches in it. So what that basically means is we are going to wrap this band around our hook 3 times. So we got 1, 2, and then 3. Like that. And like I said, we're going to be putting 6 stitches into this cap band. So we're going to pull a band through everything on our hook. Push the back one, put both ends back on your hook, push the back one over the front one. Then we'll go back in through the whole cap band, pull the band through just the cap band, so not this last loop. Put both ends back on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and then push the loop from last time over as well. And we're going to repeat that thing we just did 4 more times, so we have 6 loops in total. So we go through the cap band, pull it through just the cap band, both ends back on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and then push the loop from last time over as well. And we're just going to keep repeating this. I think it's also kind of fitting that my nails are like a reindeer and we're making a reindeer. That was just by chance. Because I painted my nails as like a reindeer. Like, I think it's like 2.5 weeks ago now. And I made a reindeer after. Maybe I was inspired by my nails. I don't know. Anyways, once you have 6 stitches in the cat band, we're going to count to make sure. So we'll start by counting the one on our hooks. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now instead of going into the cat band, we're going to go in through this first loop here, and we're going to do the same thing. So we'll pull the band through just the loop, both ends back on our hook, push the back one over the front one, push the loop from last time over as well, and then we'll be putting our C-clip on this one. Like that. So that was the first step. Now we're going to be increasing everything, and what that basically means is that every single stitch we do is going to be an increase. And yeah, at the end of this next coming row, we should be at 12 loops. So if you don't know what an increase is, all it is you're basically putting 2 stitches per loop. So this first stitch already has 1 stitch in it, but because we're increasing everything, we need to go back in and do another stitch. So we just make a stitch, and we have 2 stitches. And that would be an increase. I don't know, I feel like I'm a little spacey today. Like I was like, what am I doing? I don't know. Scatterbrained, it's fine. Anyways, we're gonna go into the next loop. We're gonna make 1 stitch. We're gonna go back in, do another stitch, and then that'll be our increase. Like that. And we're just gonna keep repeating doing this all the way around until we get to the C-clip. So we're just basically putting 2 stitches per loop till we get to the C-clip. So we're just increasing everything. I feel like I spaced out a little bit there because I was thinking about the intro. I was like, oh, was that a good intro? Should I refilm it? But I think I'm gonna leave it. I don't know why I felt like it was bad. So it's weird because some days I can sit down and do the intros in one go, and then some other days it's like, it takes me like 5 tries. I don't know why. You'd think with how many tutorials I filmed I would be an intro expert, but that is not the case. So once you get to the C-clip, you'll make a stitch on the one that has the C-clip on it, and then you'll take the C-clip off this loop and move it up onto the loop that is on your hook. Like that. So if you count around, you should be at 12 loops, so we'll start by counting the one on our hook. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that was the first step. For the next step, we are going to be increasing every other, and what that basically means is we'll be alternating between doing increases and then single stitches, and we just do that all the way around. And at the end of this next row, we should be at 18 loops. So, yeah. I'm just gonna be picking up bands. Okay. So this one was a single stitch, so our next stitch is going to be an increase. So we'll do an increase. And then because we just did an increase, the next stitch will be a single stitch. So we just put 1 stitch in that loop. And then the next one will be an increase, so we're doing 2 stitches per loop. And we just keep doing this all the way around. So I just did a increase, so the next one is going to be a single stitch. And we just keep doing this. I think it's funny because you can hear my hook hitting the desk. I don't know why I keep doing that. Okay. Almost at the C-clip. Okay. And then once you get to the C-clip, you'll just make a stitch on the one that has a C-clip on it. And you'll move it up. So you'll take it off that band and move it up onto the band that is on your hook. Like that. So now we should be at 18 loops, so let's count around and make sure we have 18. So we start on the one on our hook, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Cool. Okay, I need to like scoot closer. I was sitting weird with how I was filming. Okay, anyways, so the next row we're going to do is just a row normal, so just a row of single stitches, and at the end of this row we should still be at 18 loops, so we're not increasing at all, we're just doing single stitches all the way around until we get to the C-clip. You know, I don't know why I don't feel as talkative today. I feel like in the panda tutorial, which was the tutorial I filmed last, I was very talkative, and today I'm not feeling super talkative. Like, I'm obviously explaining stuff, but I feel like I'm very chatty in tutorials sometimes. So we're just doing single stitches all the way around. We're just doing one stitch per loop until we get to the C-clip. That one stitch was not cooperating, but it's fine. But yeah, we're just doing single stitches all the way around. You know, it was funny because yesterday I've been hanging out with my sibling a lot. I haven't really been doing a lot of, I feel like I usually do a lot of art when I'm just in general, but I've kind of been taking some time off from my art and just been chilling with my siblings, but I've realized I'm such a massive introvert. We realized this yesterday because I had been hanging out with one of my siblings for 2 days straight. Like, we've just been nonstop just like doing stuff together. And yesterday I was finally like, I need some time to myself. I didn't realize I was that much of an introvert, but I'm just used to being alone for a bit. Like, even before because I went to college recently and I was alone a lot. But even before that, I would like every morning for like 4 hours, I would be working on some various project of mine just completely alone. So I'm used to being alone for at least some part of my day. So when I hung out with one of my siblings for 2 days straight, by like yesterday afternoon, I was like, no, I need to go like loom for a bit. I'll be back in like 2 hours. And yeah, I felt a lot better after I was alone for a bit. So I've just realized I am such a massive introvert. I don't last long around people, even if it's like people, you know, like my siblings, who I love being with them. I still need some time, at least an hour or so every day, just to be by myself and just like craft or something. I don't know, I just need to be alone. Anyways, so that was one row of single stitches. If we count around, we should still be at 18, so let's count. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Cool. So the next row we are going to be increasing on every 4th stitch. That sounds more confusing than it is, but basically all it means we're going to be doing 3 single stitches, and then on the 4th one we do an increase, and I'll show you in a second. And yeah. So at the end of this row we should be at 22 loops, hopefully, if we do everything correctly. And yeah. So this one's gonna count as our first single stitch, so the one with the C-clip on it will be our first one. So that's 1. This stitch is going to be 2, 3. So after you do 3 single stitches on the 4th one, you'll do an increase. So this one's going to be our increase. And then we just keep repeating that all the way around. So you'll do 3 single stitches, so you go 1, 2, and then 3, and then on the 4th one you do an increase, so like that. And we just keep doing this all the way around. Okay. So we do 1, 2, 3, and then we do an increase. You know, this guy does take a second to go around because right now he's really, really big. Or at least for one of my designs, he's big. Oops, I need more bands. You know, I honestly don't know, like, like, I always give a guesstimation lately in tutorials of how many bands these things take, but I think this guy takes a lot of bands. Like, I feel like he does, but I don't know if it's because right now we're making the biggest part, because I like see myself using a lot of bands, but I don't know. Just thoughts I have. Okay, this one is an increase. I wasn't sure. I was like looking back, like, what did I do? Then it's just single stitches until we get to the C-clip after that one, because there's no more space. There we go. Okay. So after, like I said, after this row, oops. There we go. Okay. So after this row, we should be at 22 loops, so let's count around. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So we should be at 22 loops. Now we're going to do a row of single stitches. So once again, we're just going to do single stitches all the way around. So we should still be at 22 loops, oops, at the end of this row. So we're just going to do a row of single stitches all the way around. And yeah. We're just doing single stitches all the way around until we get to the C-clip. So just a row normal. Yeah, I thought the introvert discovery was funny yesterday because my family's like, I didn't want my family to think like I didn't like them either. That's what I'm worried about because my family's a little weird sometimes. So I'm like, no, I like you guys. I just need like an hour a day where I sit alone. But yeah, I was working on some other Christmassy designs yesterday while I was just chilling, because I needed alone time. And it's funny because my sister's like, yeah, I'm definitely an extrovert because I'm not tired of being with you. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And I'm like not tired of being with her either. It's just like I get drained socially. I'm like, no. I'm such an awful friend too, because sometimes my friends want to hang out and I'm like, I kind of want to be alone. But yeah. I feel like that sounds so awful though. Like I don't know. Being an introvert's weird. That's all I've discovered. Like, it's not that I hate people. It's just that I need my time to myself to do whatever. Even in college, because like I was around a lot of people when I was in college. I'm on break right now if you don't know. So I don't go back until January, like mid-January. But even like in college, like yeah, I'd go to class for like, I think most of my classes were like, my school days tended to be like 4 hours or something. And I would go to class, but then I'd go home and I'd sit alone for like 6 hours, which I loved because I would just work on my school projects and it was fun for me. But yeah, the alone time is definitely a necessity, not an option. I will get tired of people after some time, which is funny. But yeah, that's why I feel like I'm not as talkative today. I've just been with my family so much, like just my siblings, because I get it, they miss me, I miss them too, but yeah. Anyways, once we get to the C-clip, we're going to move it up. And then we're going to count to make sure we're still at 22 loops. So we'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Cool. So for the next row, we're going to be decreasing every third. So this is kind of simple. That's kind of similar, but not really to when we increased every fourth. But we're decreasing and like, it's not very, well, it's sort of similar. I don't know. Anyways. So this one's going to be 1. This one's going to be 2. And then this one, the third one, we're going to do a decrease. So what a decrease is you're going to grab the inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, and then you just make a stitch. Like that. And we're going to keep repeating this all the way around. So you'll do 1, 2 stitches, single stitches, and then on the third one you'll do a decrease. So you'll grab the inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop. I'll show you one more time. So we're going to do 2 single stitches, so we'll go 1, and then we'll go 2, and And then we grab inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop. And we just make a stitch. And we keep repeating this all the way around. And at the end of this row, you should be at 16 loops. We're just going to keep repeating this until we get to our C-clip. You know, I'm surprised we're only 20 minutes into the tutorial. I thought this guy took longer, but we're already almost done with the body. You know, it's always hard for me to, I guess, kind of tell how long some designs take, because I have to, like, factor in the fact that, like, usually before I make it for a tutorial, I'm designing it, so, you know, obviously it takes longer because I'm trying to make it how I want it. And then after I design it, I usually make it again just to make sure I know how to make it and also write down the pattern. So that also takes longer because I'm doing it, but I'm also trying to write down the pattern. So, I don't know, I didn't think this guy was, like, this quick of a design, but once we get his main body done, the rest kind of comes together pretty quickly. So, I'm kind of surprised with how quick this is going. I thought this was going to be a longer tutorial. But maybe it's probably not going to be. Okay, I noticed my camera was about to time out and I was like, whoopsie, but we'll continue our row. If my camera would focus, there we go. Okay, so there is one thing slightly different with this row. So when you get to the C-clip, it is technically the third stitch, but also we're just going to decrease right here. I know we usually wouldn't, but for this design we are. So we're going to decrease on the one that has a C-clip on it. And then we'll move it up like we usually would. And now if we count around, we should be at 16 loops. So let's count real quick. So we're going to go, my camera was focused. Oop, you're not focused. Okay, there we go. So if we count, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Like that. So now we're going to do one row normal again, and it's the same thing as before. At the end of this row we should still be at 16 loops, and we're just doing single stitches all the way around. I'm not really explaining this too much because we've already done 2 rows normal of just single stitches, so hopefully you know what you're doing. But we're just doing 1 stitch per loop until we get to the C-clip. Yeah. Funny because we have so much going on this week, because when I'm filming this it is 6 days till Christmas, I think, and we, like, I always help my mom with the church because she is in charge of decorations at our church, so I kind of knew that this week we were gonna decorate the church, but there's, like, I'm having to film everything I wanted to film this week today, like all in one day, because the rest of the week we're gonna be at church. I'm also excited though, because as of when I'm filming this, I'm going to be going live, hopefully on Wednesday if I can, if my Wi-Fi works. If my Wi-Fi doesn't work, I probably didn't end up going live. But once I test our Wi-Fi to make sure it's good enough to go live, I'm going to end up going live here on YouTube, and I'm super excited because, like, I see you guys in the comments all the time, but I think it would be fun to actually chat with you guys. So I'm going to do like a Loom with me chat thingy here on YouTube when you guys are seeing this. I don't know if it would have already happened. It probably would have already happened. Well, I'm going to post this tutorial before it happens, but I know a lot of my views come in later, so you'll probably see it after it happened, but I'm hoping to do one more live after Christmas sometime, but I'm going to do one this Wednesday, and I'm excited. I'm excited and scared because, I mean, you guys are used to my tutorials, and I'm always a little bit rambly in tutorials, but I'm a little scared to be rambly live. I don't know how else to explain it. I'm a little scared. I'm like, what am I gonna say that I'm gonna regret? Because at least with tutorials I can edit it out if it's like really bad and I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. But can't do that live, so that's horrifying. Okay, so now we're gonna start making the legs. Also, after that row you should still be at 16. You can count the 16 if you want. I'm gonna trust in my looming skills that there's 16 loops still. But we're gonna start making the legs. So what we're gonna do, so we have 16 loops, and the way I like to think about it is if you do 16 divided by 4, it's 4 loops per leg. So we're gonna be using 4 loops per leg, and I'll show you how we do that. This is very similar to my cow, so if you've made my cow, you probably know where this is going. So this is gonna be our first one, so we got 1, we're gonna do 2 single stitches, no wait, 3 single stitches, ignore me. So this is gonna be 1, 2, 3. So we did 3 single stitches, so 1, 2, 3. And then on this loop, which will be the last loop we use for this leg, we're gonna chain up 2. So we're gonna pull a band through everything on our hook, put both ends back on our hook. We're gonna do that again, pull a band through everything on our hook, put both ends back on our hook. And then we're gonna turn, so we're facing this way, we're gonna turn around, and we're gonna go back through that first loop that has our C-clip on it. We're gonna pull a band through everything, and then push the back one over the front one. And then we'll move our C-clip up onto this loop. And then this weird thing we made is going to be our leg. So we're gonna do a row of single stitches around this. It's kind of hard to see exactly what it is right now, but these first stitches are pretty easy to see where you're supposed to go through. So we got 1, 2. We got the third loop here. And then back here's where it gets a little tricky because we have those weird chains. But we're just gonna go through part of the chain, like the top part right here. And we're just gonna make a stitch on it. And then this last chain, we'll just go through the top part, make a stitch. And then once you get to the C-clip, we're gonna we're gonna flip to whatever color you want your hoof to be. Oh my god, I can't speak today. But we're gonna flip to whatever color you want your hoof to be. And for me, that's going to be red and white because I'm kind of making like a candy cane reindeer. But we're gonna pull whatever color for your hoof through everything on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and then we're gonna move our C-clip up. But before we move on to the next step, we're gonna count to make sure we have 5 loops. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like that. So like I said, I'm gonna try to make him like candy cane hooves, and I should have picked out the red I was using before I started filming, but did I? No, I did not. Because I'm using this glittery red that comes in the Cupid mix, which means I have to fish out the red from the pink and the clear color that's in the Cupid mix. I don't have much red left either. I've been using a lot of the sparkly red. I really like it for Christmassy things. But yeah. I always forget to put on all my bands before I film. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know, man. See, this is the rambliness I talk about that is always in my tutorials that I'm a little scared to be like live, but I mean, it works out fine for my tutorials. Hopefully it'll work out fine for when I go live on Wednesday, but we will see if I go live. Because I gotta test our Wi-Fi first. Anyways. So now we're just gonna do a row of single stitches in our hoof color. So for me, that is white and red. So we're just gonna do a row of single stitches around this. If this band would cooperate, there we go. And it is a little hard to go around this because of how tight it is, but it's not super bad. But it is a little tight. Oh my god. Keep accidentally pulling my hook out. Ignore that. Okay, and then once you get to the C-clip, we can just take it out at this point. You can count if you still have to check if you still have 5 loops if you want to double check. I can kind of already tell I have 5 because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like that. But now we're going to just decrease everything until it's closed. I think we can only do like 2 decreases, so this will be the first decrease. And we're decreasing the exact same way we did in the body, so you grab the inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, make a stitch. So that was 1 decrease. And I think this second decrease is the last decrease we can pick up, so we're going to pick up that decrease. So inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop. And then we're just going to pull a band through everything on our hook, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And then we will just hide our tail into our leg. So we will just come up right where the slip knot is, and then just pull it in. And that is how you make one leg. So I'm going to show you how to make one more leg, and then I think I'm going to go off camera, do the other 2 legs, and come back. All the legs are made exactly the same, but I am going to show you twice, because I know when I did the cow design, a lot of people were confused on how I did the legs. And I think it was honestly the spots on the cow that confused everybody, but this guy's one solid color, so it's a little bit easier. But But yeah, I'm going to show you how to do one more leg, and then I'm going to go off camera and do the rest. So it's the same thing. We're using only 4 loops, so we're going to do... So this, you can tell, was our last loop we used for the last leg, because there's like the chain on it. So we're going to go right here. We're going to do 3 single stitches first, so we go 1, 2, and then 3. And then on this 4th loop, we're going to chain up 2, so we're going to pull a band through everything on our hook. Both ends on our hook. Chain up again, so we'll pull a band through everything on our hook, put both ends back on. And then we're going to turn, so we're facing this way. We're going to turn, go back through that first loop, and then we're just going to pull a band through everything on our hook, push the back one over the front one, and then we'll be putting our C-clip on this one. Like that. So that'll be the weird leg thingy we have, and now we're just going to do a row around the weird leg thing. So it's pretty easy to find these first 2 single stitches. And then we're going to do 2 single stitches on the chains. So we just come through this like inner part of the first chain. And this first chain is honestly the one that I sometimes nearly miss, so just make sure you go through it. There we go. Make a stitch. Then we'll make a stitch on this one. And then once we get to the one with the C-clip on it, we're going to switch to our hoof color. So we'll just we'll slip stitch, so we'll just pull our hoof color through everything on our hook, push the back one over the front one, and then move our C-clip up. So now if you count around, you should be at 5 loops, so you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we're just going to do a row of single stitches in our hoof color. Is it hoof or hoof? I'm having this realization. I don't know which it is. Is it hoof? Hooves. I don't know. I might be saying it wrong. It's fine. But yeah, hoof, hooves, whatever. Would it be hoof color, hoof color? Hoof color sounds right. Like hoove color? That doesn't sound right. I don't know. I'm just realizing I don't know if I'm saying it right or not. I have no idea, guys. It's fine. But we're just going to do a row of single stitches around this in our new color. I'm just going to say that for now. In whatever color you want for the bottom of the feet, which are supposed to be his hooves or hoofs. I don't know. And once you get to the C-clip, you'll just make a single stitch on the one that has the C-clip on it. And you'll move it up. If I could go through the whole loop, I keep missing. There we go. And you'll just move it up. So I also just want to mention, because I realized I forgot, if you are trying to do like a multicolor hoof, I'm not slip stitching when I flip colors. Like when I'm flipping between the white and red, I'm just switching which band I'm using. You probably noticed that, but if you didn't, because I know we slip stitch, oh gosh dang it, I'm just gonna edit that out. I know we slip stitched when we flip to the like hoof color or whatever, but I'm not slip stitching between the white and the red just because it would be too much, honestly, and it looks fine like this. So if you want to do your hoofs 2 color, I wouldn't flip between colors, but yeah, we do flip when we flip between like this color to this color, but if you're doing something like I am, I wouldn't slip stitch between. Just a note if you're flipping colors. If you're not flipping colors, then just completely ignore that. Anyways, now we're going to decrease till closed. So we're going to get the inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, make a stitch, and then we'll do that one more time. Inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, and then we'll just pull our band through everything on our hook. Push the back one over the front one and pull tight. And we'll just take our C-clip out, and we're good. We're good to go. Then we'll just come up right by where the tail is. We'll snatch it, and then we'll just pull it in. And that's another hoof. So like I said, we're doing the exact same thing for the other two hooves. I'm gonna make the other two, then I'm gonna come back and show you what to do next. Okay, so once you finish all the legs, it should look something like this. You shouldn't have any loops left. If you had 16 loops, you should have used all the loops, and now there's legs on all of them. But now we're going to stuff our reindeer, so we're just gonna get some stuffing. I'm using cotton balls because I always use cotton balls. But you can use whatever you want. You can use polyfill, you can use tissues, you can use, I use cotton balls. I don't know what else you could stuff him with, but you just want to stuff him. I'm also trying to get my camera to focus, but it's not really focusing. Why are you doing that? Camera focus. I don't know why it's being weird here. Let me have it focus on the loom thing. There we go. Good enough. But yeah. Hopefully you didn't have too many problems making the legs. I know it can be a bit confusing. I explained it twice. Hopefully you got it. I don't know. I also wrote it down in the pattern in the description, so if you're like really struggling with the legs, maybe check out how I wrote it down and see if that makes more sense to you. But yeah. So we're just gonna stuff our reindeer. Make sure you fill him up well. You don't want him to be soggy. I feel like this guy's like really big. Like he uses a lot of stuffing. This reindeer design might be one of my favorite Christmas designs I've made. I've made a lot of Christmas designs in the past couple of years because I've been trying to think of like some new things I can make for Christmas because obviously it's Christmas time. But I don't know. I don't have much left. I know I haven't done a Santa. Some people are saying I should do a Santa. I don't know how I feel about doing a Santa. Just because I don't know if I want to make... I don't know. I've noticed this in my art as well. I don't paint or draw people often. Even with loom things, I don't make people often, if that makes sense. Like, I much prefer making, like, animals or even food to people, so... I don't know. That's why I haven't made a Santa, so... Maybe eventually one day I'll make a Santa, but right now, this year, I'm not making a Santa, so I was working on some other things. Some other Christmas designs that probably won't get a tutorial this year, but I just want to, like, have something fun to post on Christmas, so I've been working on some things. Just for fun. This reindeer was just for fun as well, but then after I made him, I was like, no, this guy needs a tutorial. He's getting a tutorial. Okay, so once you stuff him, what we're gonna do now is we are going to go in between the two legs. We're gonna chain up 2, so we're gonna go 1, 2, and then we're gonna flip our hook around so we're facing towards the legs. If you're already facing towards the other side, then you don't have to flip your hook around, but I wasn't, so I had to flip it around. And we're gonna come across right in between the legs, and we're just gonna pull a band through everything on our hook and then tie it off. Just to kind of hold everything in. And we're gonna do that again, but going like vertically, I guess. So we're gonna come in between these two legs. We're gonna chain up 2, so we're gonna pull band. So we're just gonna chain up 2. So we got 1, then 2. And then we'll flip. Well, I have to flip my hook because I'm facing the wrong direction. You want to be facing towards the other side. I'm gonna come right here on the other side. Pull the band through everything on your hook. Push the back one over the front one and pull tight. Like that. And that's how we close up the bottom for the legs. And now we're just going to hide these 2 tails that we have sticking out. So you're just going to pull them into the reindeer. So that way you can't see them. There's one hidden. And there's 2 hidden. Cool. Like that. So that's it for his body. So we're going to set this aside and we're going to start working on the head. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. If you hear crinkling, it's me dumping out more bands. I didn't realize I needed more. But I'm completely ran out. You know, I think this guy takes like 250 bands because I'm using these caramel bands and it was a brand new pack, and we're almost done with the brown, and I haven't used like half the pack yet, so he probably takes like 250, which isn't bad. Just thinking of like band counts and things. Anyways, to start the head, we are going to start again with a triple cat band with 6 stitches in it, so exactly the same to how we did the body. So we're going to wrap a band 3 times around our hook. So 1, 2, and then 3. And then we're going to pull a band through the cat band. Put both ends back on our hook, push the back one over the front one. And then we're going to go back through the whole cat band. Then we pull a band through just the cat band. Both ends back on our hook, push the back one over the front one, and then push the loop from last time over as well. So we're going to repeat that thing we just did 4 more times, so we have 6 loops in total in this cat band. So we just pull a band through just the cat band, back one over the front one, loop from last time. And we just do this 3 more times. I think that was 6, yeah. So you're going to want to make sure you have 6 loops, so you'll start by counting the one on your hook, so you'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So once you've made sure you have 6 loops, instead of going into the cat band, we're going to go in through this first loop here, and we're going to make a stitch, and then our C-clip will be going on this one. Like that. So now, very similar again to the body, we are going to be increasing everything this row, so every single stitch we do is going to be an increase. And I am picking up bands really quick. I just noticed in my panda tutorial that I always announce to you guys when I'm picking up bands. I don't know why I feel the need to, but I do. In case you just like think I'm sitting here in silence and I don't know what I'm waiting for. But no, I'm picking up bands. Anyways, this first stitch already has 1 stitch in it, but because we're increasing, we need to go back in and do another one, so that way it has 2. Like that. So in case you forgot what an increase is, all you're doing is you're doing 2 stitches per loop until you get to the C-clip. And at the end of this row, we should be at 12 loops. So we're just putting 2 stitches per loop. And once you get to the C-clip, you'll just make a stitch on the one that has the C-clip on it, and you'll move it up. And now if you count around, you should be at 12 loops, so we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now we're going to do 2 rows normal, so just 2 rows of single stitches, and at the end of each of these 2 rows, we should be at 12 loops still. I'm going to stay on camera and do both of these 2 rows with you because this is fairly small, so it should go fairly fast. I really hate that my camera does not have a pause button. Every time I want to drink water, I just have to do it. I can't pause. And I could come back and edit out my water drinking, but it's too much work sometimes to find exactly where in the footage I drink water and edited it out, so sorry if you heard that. Enjoy the ASMR. I don't know what else to say. Oh my gosh. But yeah, we're doing 2 rows of single stitches, so we're just doing single stitches all the way around. You know, it was funny because I was rewatching the footage I just filmed to make sure the intro came out okay because I was really worried I had a bad intro, but it's okay. And I noticed at the start, instead of saying I wanted to make a candy cane reindeer, I said cotton candy reindeer, so oops, I'm just gonna have to put in the description that I misspoke because everyone's gonna be like, you said cotton candy instead of candy cane, and I'm like, I know, I mixed them up, whoops. But yeah. And wow, we're almost already done with the first row. See, this guy, because it's so tiny, we go fast around him quick. His head. Once you get to the C-clip, you'll just make a stitch on the one that has a C-clip on it, and you'll just move it up, so take it off that band, move it up onto the band that is on your hook. So that was one row of single stitches. Like I said, we have to do 2, so I'm just going to really quickly do the second row. You know, I also thought it would be fun to mention, like, kind of what inspired this reindeer too, because I remembered when I was paused making the legs, but he was kind of inspired by the reindeer from the new Grinch. I don't know if you've seen the newer Grinch movie that came out in like 2018 or something like that, like the cartoon. Like, we watched it recently at my grandma's, and my grandma was like, "Were you inspired by the reindeer from that?" I'm like, yes, I was, because there's like a kind of like a chunkier reindeer in that movie. And yeah, I was kind of inspired by that movie to make a chunkier reindeer, because it kind of made me realize, like, if I make a reindeer, it doesn't have to be all thin and actually like a reindeer. It can be chunky just for fun. But yeah, I was a little bit inspired by the movie. I actually like that Grinch movie. I've said this before on my channel, I'm not the hugest Christmas person. My sister, she is like the most festive person ever, and I'm just not it. Like, I enjoy parts of Christmas, but I've never really enjoyed Christmas. I did for a while when I was a kid, but then once I kind of got older, I was just like, nah, this ain't for me. Which is sad. My sister calls me a Grinch, so maybe that's why I like that movie so much, but I think it's fun. Anyways, once you get to the C-clip, you're just going to move it up. Like that. So we should still be at 12 loops. I'm going to count to make sure I didn't accidentally increase anywhere. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So next we're going to decrease every third. And we already did this once, this pattern. We're doing the same thing. It's just on a little bit of a smaller scale because the head isn't as big as the body, but it's the same thing. So we're doing 2 single stitches, and then on the third one, we do a decrease. In case you forgot though, I will be showing you. So this is going to be 1 single stitch. This one's going to be 2. So then on the next one, we do a decrease. So I'll show you again. So we go 1 single stitch, 2 single stitches, and then on this third one here, we're going to do a decrease. So we grab inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, and then we just make a stitch. And we just keep doing that until we get to the C-clip. And we do a decrease. Then once you get to the C-clip, you're just going to make a stitch on the one that has a C-clip on it, and you're going to move it up. And now we should be at 9 loops, so let's count. We should be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now we are going to do 2 rows normal again, so just 2 rows of single stitches around this, and I'm going to stay on camera again and do all 2 rows with you, just because these are going to be quick anyways. And yeah. You know, if you make a reindeer, tell me what color you're making your reindeer. I'm kind of curious because I really do feel like this is a design you can do all kinds of different color combos with. Like you could make a blue reindeer and make it kind of just like a wintry reindeer, or I think a light pink reindeer would be super cute. Like, it would just be adorable. This is definitely a design that you could have a lot of fun with the colors. I also really like seeing whenever you guys make my stuff, so if you make one, either show it to me on Instagram or, you know, just comment what color you made your reindeer and I'll imagine it. It'll be like that. Those are some good colors. Yeah. It's funny because, like, I'm gonna have to film 2 tutorials today because, like I said, I'm having a busy week because, well, if you didn't hear earlier in the tutorial, because I know some of you guys skip around, but I have a bit of a busy week this week because I'm helping my mom decorate our church, as well as, well, that's what I'm doing this week. It's gonna take up the entire week. So I only really have today to film, so I'm gonna have to cram 2 tutorials into one day, and I was like, I can do it. It'll be fine. Like, I like filming tutorials, you know? It's chill, and the second tutorial is gonna be quicker than this one. But let me tell you, I forgot that my voice gets tired so easy. My voice already feels tired. In the next video, my voice is just gonna be completely gone. No, I'm joking. It won't completely go, but definitely my voice is just gonna be, it's gonna be something. No, I'll sound fine probably. It's probably just me that can tell that, like, my voice is tired, but it's fine. Every single time though I film a tutorial and I feel my voice getting tired, I'm like, how do teachers teach all day? Like, how do you guys just talk all day? Like, do your voices hurt by the end? I imagine they do. They must. Like, it's so much talking. I would die. 100%. Well, my voice would die. I wouldn't die, just my voice. Anyways, once we finish our 2 rows, we'll just move our C-clip up. Count to make sure we're still at 9. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And your head should be looking a little something like this. And now we're going to stuff it. So we're going to get some stuffing and we're just going to stuff our head. But yeah. You know, I really have been trying to brainstorm some Christmas ideas of what I could make. So even if you don't have, like, I know if you have any Christmas ideas that you would like me to make that won't probably get done this year, but maybe I'll revisit next year, or maybe I'll just make it for fun and we'll have a tutorial for it next year. And by we, I mean, I don't know. It's just me running this channel. I don't know why I said we. But if you have any Christmas design ideas, definitely comment them. I'm hoping to loom a little bit because I know Christmas is still like a week away. Well, it's like 6 days away as of when I'm filming this, but you know, I may have time to loom things, but I definitely won't have any more time for tutorials after today. But it's okay. I feel like I didn't put out too many Christmas designs this year, but it kind of makes sense because like I already have so many Christmas things on my channel, which is surprising considering I'm not a Christmas person, but it's fine. I keep saying it's fine for everything. My god. Okay. So once you finish stuffing him, we're going to decrease everything until it's closed. So every single stitch we do is going to be a decrease until we can't decrease anymore. So we're just going to grab the inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, and then make a stitch. And we're just going to keep doing this all the way around until we can't decrease anymore. And at this point, if your C-clip's getting in the way, you can just take it out. And then once you have your last decrease up on your hook, you're just going to pull a band through everything on your hook, push the back one over the front one and pull tight. And then you'll just hide this tail into your reindeer head, which probably looks a little bit weird right now. Yeah. It looks a little bit weird, just squish it a little bit. I've found it will fix on its own if you just give it a little squish. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. So now we have our reindeer body and our reindeer head. We're going to completely finish the head and then we're just going to attach it to our body and then a tail, and then this guy's pretty much done. So I'm going to show you how to do the whole head first. I think we're going to do ears, eyes, and the nose, and then I'll show you how to do the antlers, and then we'll attach it to the body. And my camera's about to time out. Yay. Thank goodness I have 3 camera batteries because I put the other camera battery I have in and it was blinking at me and I was like, apparently I didn't charge it. I thought I had all of them charged, but apparently not. So luckily we had this backup battery that is charged. Anyways, we're gonna get, I was gonna say get started on the head, and then I was like, we're gonna finish the head. I don't know. We're gonna work on this guy. Words. So we're going to do the ears first, and his ears are pretty simple. We're going to take 2 bands. We're going to wrap them around our hook 4 times. So we're going to go 1, 2, wait, that's 3 because it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to take 2 bands, double them. We're going to slide the cap band onto these 2 bands. I hate doubled bands so much. Everything's so tight. Oh my god, hold up. Just slide the doubled cap band onto your hook. Like that. So once you slid the cap band onto the band, we're just going to take a band, pull it through everything on our hook, and then we're going to use this band to tie it into our head. So we're going to, where should we put the ears? Just pick a spot where you want the ears. So I'm going to come right here. I'm just going to use this band to tie it in. like that. So it's one ear. We're going to do the exact same thing again for the other ear. So you just take 2 bands, wrap them 4 times around your hook. So this one's 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Take 2 bands, double them, and then pull that cat band onto these doubled bands. And then you take another band, slide this onto that band, and then use this band to tie the ear onto the reindeer. And I would recommend leaving the tails out still, just in case when we put the antlers you want to move your ears, but we're just gonna leave these sticking out. But we'll move on to the nose and all that for his face. So you're gonna want to get 2 bands for the nose, in whatever color you want the nose. I'm still gonna do a red nose. And we're gonna wrap them 5 times around our hook. You can only do 4, I just think 5 looks better. I don't know, but you can only wrap them 4 times because it is sometimes harder to like slide the 5 times onto a band. So if it's too hard for you, you can wrap it 4 times, it'll still look good, but I've been picky lately and I like wrapping bands 5 times around my hook. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And then you'll slide this band onto, we'll just slide the cat band onto the band. And it is a little bit harder to slide when you wrap it this many times, but I think it looks nicer, so it's worth it. But if you're really struggling to slide it on, just wrap your band 4 times. It'll be much easier, and it looks almost the same. I'm just picky. You'll just slide this to the middle. And then once again, we'll use the band to tie it onto his face. I like to put his nose a little bit lower. I think I'm actually going to put it right here. And we'll just tie it in. And I am going to tuck the nose band in because I usually don't move the nose. Like that. There we go. So for the eyes, you're going to want to get whatever you want to use for the eyes. That could be either... Where's my eyes? There's my eyes. I'm going to be using beads today. These are 4mm round beads. But you could use a band if you don't have beads. Or safety eyes if you have safety eyes, but I like using beads. So I'm just going to get a band, a piece of string. This is a piece of dental floss just because I think it works best. You're going to put your band onto the string. And you're going to take your bead. Put your bead onto the string. Now you're just going to make sure that when you go back to the bead, that the band gets looped in. Just like that. It's always so hard to go through the bead. There we go. And then you'll just slide that bead onto that band. And we'll repeat it for the other eye. And like I said, if you don't have beads, you can use bands. You can wrap a band 4 or 5 times around your hook. And then just pull it onto a band and tie it into your reindeer, and it would work exactly the same as beads. Like I said, you could also use safety eyes if you have safety eyes, but for tinier creations like this, I like using beads, so that's why I'm using beads. But I usually put them just right above the nose, so like right here. And I'll just use the band to tie them in. I have also found that when you're tying eyes in, it does help if you hold onto the eye while you pull on the band. I don't know why, but it's just something I noticed I do, and it kind of helps the eye, because sometimes if you're using beads, the eye will want to flip to the back. So if you hold on to it, it won't do that. Just a trick I have learned from years of tying eyes onto loom creations. And we'll tie the other eye in. And this could be the same as the ears, where you can leave the tails out until you like where the eyes are, but I'm usually not too picky about it, so I'm just tucking my tails in. This guy's eyes are very close together compared to my other reindeer, but I think it's kind of cute, so I'm gonna leave it. So like I said, I'm still leaving these out for the ears until I put the antlers on. And we're gonna do the antlers next, because we pretty much have everything except for the antlers. So get whatever colors you want for the antlers. I'm still doing candy cane kind of colors, so I'm using 2 different colors, but if you were using the same color, you would just ignore my... I'm not really color switching, I'm just placing like my bands on the finger in the order I want the colors to be. And the thing that's kind of tricky with the antlers is I've kind of done them different each time for each reindeer, so I'm going to show you generally how I do them. But you can totally make your reindeer antlers a little bit different. I mean, it's hard to kind of, I mean, you can't really go wrong with them. I'm going to show you my other 2 reindeers right now in a second when I finish picking up bands. But you'll notice that they're not the same on either reindeer, and they still look good, so yeah. But I will show you how I make them, so that way you, because I know sometimes it's hard for people to figure out, like, how to, like, I guess modify it a little bit. But you see these guys' antlers, they look like this. And I like his antlers better than this guy's, but his are a little different. But it's hard to go wrong. I mean, he looks still like a reindeer. But I'm going to be showing you how to make him closer to this guy's today. So like that. So we're going to start by wrapping a band 4 times around our hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to double a band and slide the cap band onto that band. Like that. And we're going to repeat this again. So wrap a band 4 times around our hook. Double a band, slide it on, and then you're going to just take a band, double it, and then slide both of these onto the same band. Like that. Then we're going to chain up 1, so we're going to just double a band and chain up. Like that. And now we're once again going to be doing the same thing we did up here, so we're going to be wrapping a band 4 times around our hook. And taking a doubled band, sliding it on, and then we're going to double a band, pull a band, and then pull this band through everything on our hook. So we're going through this weird thing we just made as well as our antler we kind of already have going. We're just going to slide everything on. Like that. And now we're going to want to flip this. So we're going to grab it and we're going to pinch this so that way it doesn't come undone, and we're going to flip it. Of course, if you're using a double-ended hook like me, you wouldn't have to... Oops, I lost one. Hold up. Emergency. Oh shoot. Oh no. Sorry, I just lost the band. Flipping it is kind of hard, especially because of how tight it is, but it does look better if you flip it, so flip it. Just make sure you really pinch it when you flip it. I'm gonna be perfectly honest, that was my first time flipping it. I have a double-ended hook, so I can usually just slide it down. So if you're using a double-ended hook, you could do that. Also, I'm trying to fix my mistake off camera, because I don't want to lose it. I could just grab these 2 bands. Oh my god, I hate when everything's doubled. Everything's so tight. Sorry. Just having some technical difficulties. I think I'm gonna have to redo it. So if you lose it, you can always go back through like the previous stitches and just undo it, because I kind of messed up so bad having to undo it and then redo it, which is fun. It's so easy to lose doubled bands, so it's kind of what happened. So I'm just going to redo that last thing we just did because I kind of messed up when I flipped it. Okay, but once you flipped it, it should look like this, and we're going to do the same thing again. So we're going to wrap a band 4 times around our hook. And we're just going to chain up 1. And we'll take another band, pull it through everything on our hook, like that. And we're going to want to flip it again. So we're going to get this and we're going to flip it. Just make sure you really pinch it when you flip it. Like you could tell I'm really pinching the bottom. And then go back through all the bands. And like I said, if you had a double-ended hook like me, you could just slide this down your hook and then you'd be at the other end. But I know a lot of you don't have this hook and it would be hard for you to do that. So just flip it. If you've made flipping it's scary at first, but I've made a lot of hook-only bracelets, so I've gotten pretty good at flipping. But the key is just to make sure you really pinch on the bottom so you don't lose anything. But we're going to do the same thing again. So we're going to wrap a band 4 times around our hook. And chain up 1. And then we'll double a band. And then slide all this onto that doubled band. Like that. And then this will be 1 antler, so we're just going to take our reindeer color. We're going to pull it through everything. And we're going to use this band to tie it into our reindeer head. So let me get the head of my reindeer. I'm going to tie it right here. It's actually a bad spot. Right here. And I'm just going to tie it in. And I'm not going to hide the tail in until I have the other antler in and I like where both of them are. But that's 1 antler. That's how I made 1. And I'm going to show you how I do the other one because I like making both antlers slightly different. So they are different. Just slightly though. So we're going to start kind of similar. So we're going to start by wrapping a band 4 times around our hook and then chaining up 1. Like that. But then for the next one, we're once again going to start with a cap band wrap 4 times. But we're going to chain up 2, so it's 1. Then we have 2. Like that. So we have 1 that's a cap band and then 2 chained up, and then we have 1 cap band that's just 1 chained up. And I need to pick up more bands. I didn't think it was going to take me so long to show you guys how to make the antlers, but I guess the antlers are kind of intricate. A little bit. But now we're going to double a band. Actually, it should be in white. We're going to double a band. Pull it through everything on our hook. We're going to do that again. Double a band. Pull it through everything on our hook. Okay, like that. And now we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to wrap a band 4 times around our hook. Then just chain up 1. And I know this might hurt your fingers. Like, my fingers are already hurting from having to do so many doubled bands. They're kind of a pain. And then we'll double a band. Slide all this onto that doubled band. That. And once again, we're going to want to flip. So when I say pinch, make sure you're pinching this bottom portion. So like right here, you're going to pinch hard so you don't lose anything. And then you're going to put your hook back through these bands right here. It's hard for me to do on camera, so I'm going to do it off camera real quick. But you can see the loops that were there that you would put your hook through. And that is the key to flipping any kind of bracelets or anything, is really to pinch on the last spot where you did anything. Just a little bit of a tip from my years of hook-only bracelet making. Okay. I'm making sure I did it, like, I'm trying to make these antlers kind of similar to how I did before. So if you hear me pausing, it's just because I'm making sure I'm doing everything correctly. But we're going to do the same thing. We're going to wrap a band 4 times around our hook. Double a band. Slide it on. Oop, that's the wrong color, isn't it? Yes, it is. I don't know how that happened. Weird. They probably were in the wrong order on my finger. Oops. Yeah. See, double bands are tricky and it's so hard doing this on camera. I just kind of lost the part where I was holding it. Sorry. I feel like I'm making a lot of mistakes right now. Okay. So just slide it on. And then I'm just gonna do another, just to chain one up. And then we'll flip this, so we'll hold on to this bottom piece. Flip it. And then we'll do one last bit. And then I think we're done with this antler. So once again, we'll start by wrapping a band 4 times around our hook. Chaining up 1. Then we'll take a band, double it, pull it through everything. Then we'll take a band in the color of our reindeer, pull it through everything. And then we'll use this band to tie it into our reindeer. Just kind of hard to do. Can't really see. We'll just use that band to tie it into our reindeer. Sorry, I was looking at my antlers. So they're like 2 kind of different antlers, but I like them not being perfectly symmetrical. I also feel like there's a lot in the antlers that you could like change. Like you don't have to do them exactly the way I did. You can do more spaces, you can make them stick out more, so. But this is just in general how I did the 2 antlers. I know this one's a little smaller than this one, but I kind of like how that looks. So it's just a me thing. I like him having 2 slightly different sized antlers. It's very slight. Like, I feel like at first glance you definitely don't notice that they're slightly different sizes, but I like how that looks. So if your antlers are a little too close together and you want to, like, make them lean to one side, you can come down to the bottom here of the last, like, stitch and just pull on it a bit so it'll, like, lean to one side more. Just so that way they're not too close together. I honestly think I may have accidentally added one too many in this one, but I'm kind of fine. I mean, they still look good together. And they don't look too bad. They look pretty good. So yeah, so I kind of like where everything is, so I'm just going to really quickly hide these tails, and then I'm going to show you how to attach the head to the body. So I hid all my tails. You can't see any tails anymore, and he has his antlers. I feel like I made these guys a little... No, they're about the same size as the rest. And now we're going to just get our body, and we're going to pick whichever side we want for the head. This thing is pretty much a square, so it doesn't, like, one side is not, like, different than the other. They're all the same on all sides. You just have to pick whatever you want to be the front of your reindeer. It's just a preference thing, honestly. And then you're just going to line the head up where you want it on the body. And then we're just going to slip knot it on. I usually have to slip knot it about 3 or 4 times. So I'm just sticking some bands on my fingers so I'm ready to do that. But we're just going to go through part of the reindeer and then part of the body. And I kind of like to line them up where I want them and then just snag wherever makes the most sense. Like snag the bands from each part. Then I just tie it together. I feel like once you have the first one on, it's pretty easy to do the rest. It's also kind of really hard for me to see on camera. As you can see, I'm kind of going a little higher this time. I'm going to tie it together. I would probably tie the head on 4 times, even though I tied the white guy's head on with only 3 bands, so just depends, just depends. Actually, this guy might only have to have it tied 3 times. So once you have the head on, you're just going to make sure it's where you like it, so just look at your reindeer Make sure you like where the head is, and if you like where the head is, then you can just tuck in all your tails, and he's almost done, because he just needs a tail. Now he needs a tail, because our reindeer doesn't have a tail yet. But once we give him a tail, he is done. Our reindeers are complete. And we're ready to go. So, yeah. Okay. So once you've hit all your tails from attaching the head, we're just gonna take two caramel bands or whatever color your main reindeer is for the tail. We're gonna wrap them around our hook 4 times, slide them onto a band, and then we'll just use this as our tail. So I'll just come right where the butt and just tie it in. Oh shoot, that snapped. Oops. Let me redo that real quick because that band totally snapped. I think I pulled it a little too hard. Redoing the tail. We don't want to leave him tailless. Like that. And then you'll just hide the tail to the tail and the reindeer. Like that. And then that's pretty much it. Your reindeer should be done. He should be looking pretty cute. I also think I tied this a little too far out, but I'm gonna fix it later. But that is pretty much it for this tutorial. So yeah, here's my final reindeer. If my camera would focus, there we go. Ta-da. I think his face looks a little wonky. I think I tied it a little too high, but that's just a placement thing because it's always hard to see where I'm placing things when I'm filming. But other than that, my reindeer looks really cute. I like how the candy cane antlers turned out. So if you make a reindeer, definitely share it with me. I would love to see how yours turn out and how yours come out. I really love this design. This might be one of my favorite Christmas designs I've made. So yeah, tag me on Instagram if you make one. My Instagram's gingercel. It's also linked down in the description if you want to check anything out. If I make any more Christmas designs for this year, they will be posted on my Instagram before they're ever posted here. So you can see what's coming if you follow me on my Instagram. And yeah, so I hope you liked this tutorial. Subscribe if you want to see more tutorials from me. I have more coming as of when this is filmed. The next tutorial that is going to be out is going to be a Santa hat for my big duck design. As you can tell, this duck is ginormous and he's got a Santa hat on. So that's next. That's what's coming. My last Christmas design for the year. I know I didn't have many this year, but it's been a crazy year. So yeah, but I hope you like it. I hope your reindeer came out okay. And yeah, I will see you soon. Hopefully in another tutorial, but I think that's it for this one. So I will see you around, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Bye, guys.